Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Jangres Khan in online class for your MPhil Economics. First of all, I would like to welcome you in online classes for your MPhil course. Dear students, you know that we took one lecture in March 2020 for the subject of human resource management and development, and then the university was closed due to the corona pandemic, which I hope that you and your families are safe, and pray to remain safe from this pandemic. Dear students, as I discussed in the beginning, that it is our lecture number 2 as a whole, and the first online class of your subject, Human Resource Management and Development. In the first lecture, we discussed the unit number 1 of your course outline, in which we defined the human resource management and development in detail, and we discussed relevant topics to the human resource management and development, like SHRM, HRD, etc. Today we are discussing, starting the unit number 2, and the title of this particular unit is Strategic Human Resource Management. This lecture is based mainly on the material which have been taken from 2 books, Armstrong and Taylor 2014 and Mathis and Jackson. The detailed references of these 2 books are given at the end of these slides. The topics included in this lecture are what is strategic human resource management. This is our first topic, in which we will define the strategic human resource management, which you know that is the connection between a company's human resources and its strategies, objectives, and goals. I'm in the coming slides, I'm going to discuss it in detail. And the second topic will be the aims of the strategic human resource management. You know that mainly the strategic human resource management aims at the advanced flexibility, innovation, and mainly the competitive advantage. Similarly, the third topic in this lecture will be approaches to the strategic human resource management. And after the lecture is not limited to just only three topics, at the end we will discuss the global competitiveness and the strategic human resource management as well. So, coming to the first topic, what is strategic human resource management? Strategic human resource management is an approach to the development and implementation of human resource strategies that are integrated with business strategies and support their achievement. What does it mean? It means that strategic human resource management is actually the integration, the combination of the HR strategies with the business strategies in order to achieve the organizational goals. It is the interface between the human resource management and the strategic management. Strategic human resource management, another definition of the strategic human resource management is the use of employees to gain or keep a competitive advantage. Means develop strategies by keeping in mind the organizational financial resources and other resources to develop the human resources in such a way that the organization is able to achieve the competitive advantage, because we know that we are living in a competitive age. The firms have competition in the market, so in order to achieve the competitive advantage, It aims at it combines the human resource strategies with the business strategies and develop such a plans which achieve the competitive advantage. We can say that the strategic human resource management systematically link the people with firm. And who are the people? The people working in the organization, the workers, the managers, the top level managers, the middle level, and the lower level management. In words of Beard and Mishulam, business objectives are accomplished when human resource practices, procedures, and systems are developed and implemented based on organizational needs, and that is when a strategic perspective to the human resource management is adopted. Similarly, another view of the Henry and Pettigrew is that strategic human resource management has four meanings. Number one, it is plan-based. It is a planning. What we do in it? That we plan how to achieve the competitive advantage, how to achieve the optimum goals of the organization. So how we are going to achieve, we plan strategies for it. We develop strategies for it. And these strategies are based on the resources available, financial resources and other resources of the available within the organization, and we make use of the human resources with the other resources and plan strategies for achieving the organizational goals. Second meaning can be it is a rational approach to design and to the design and management of personnel systems based on an employment policy and manpower strategy, often underpinned by a philosophy. That is not based off a particular philosophy. The organization design employment policy and manpower strategy to achieve the goals. The third meaning can be that it is matching the human resource management activities and policies to some explicit business strategies. Similarly, seeing the people of an organization, the fourth one is seeing the people of an organization as a strategic resource for the achievement of a competitive advantage. Means that all, if you look at that, all these meanings of the strategic human resource management, we come to the point that the main reason, aim of the strategic human resource management revolves around the competitive advantage. Strategic human resource management make decisions on the intention and plans of the organization in shape of the policies, programs, practices concerning the employment relationship, resourcing, learning and development, performance management, reward and employee relations. Means that strategic human resource management is not limited to a particular section or particular area of the organization. It looks into account the policies and programs and as well the practices which are relevant to the resourcing, to the training, to the employment relationship, to performance management, either to the compensation system, to the employment relations, to the promotions, etc. So it's a very, we can say that strategic human resource management is a very broad term. The concept of strategic human resource management is derived from the concept of human resource management and strategy. It takes the SHRM model with its focus on strategy, integration, and consistency, and adds to that the key notions of the strategy, namely strategic intent, resource-based strategy, competitive advantage, and strategic capability and strategic fit. If you look at this particular diagram you see in this figure, that the organizational strategies and organizational cultures that is need for the resources, quantity and skills levels. These are the resources which are relevant to the human resources, and on the business side, the competitive or financial environment and current organization situation means the current business strategy, the current situation, conditions of the organization, means the available resources, and the resources are financial resources. So these the human resources and the financial resources, means the humans resource strategies and the financial strategies, the business strategies. And what we do with these two type of the resources, that we go to develop the strategies like the equal employment, recruitment and selection, HR development, compensation, performance management, and employee relations. And we can do all these with the help of these two types of the strategies, the conditions, the information available from these two fields. Strategic management is a subtopic of this topic. According to Boxell and Purcell, strategic management is a process of strategy making, of forming, and if the firm survives, reforming its strategy over time. What is the strategic management? Strategic management is actually to design strategies, to program, to develop strategies, and as the firm goes forward, if the firm needs, looking at the need of the firm, looking at the what the firm needs, if the need of the firm is to reform this strategy, then these strategies are reformed through the strategic management. Similarly, Johansson has defined it as understanding the strategic position of an organization, making strategic choices for the future, and turning strategy into action is the strategic management. Similarly, according to another definition, deciding what business the company will be in and forming a strategic vision of where the organization needs to be headed, and in effect infusing organization with a sense of purpose, providing long-term direction, and establishing a clear-cut mission to be accomplished. Means strategic management, what it does, that it develop strategies in such a way that the firm is able to set its long-term direction, its goals, and a clear-cut mission to be achieved. And the focus is on identifying the organization mission and strategies, but attention is also given to the resource base required to make it succeed. Now, in order to achieve any goal and develop any strategy, what is need is the resource base. Managers who think strategically will have a broad and long-term views of where they are going, but they will also be aware that they are responsible first for the planning, how to allocate resources to the opportunities that contribute to the implementation of strategy, and second for the managing these opportunities in a way that will aid to the value the results are achieved by them. Means that they will have to keep in mind what kind of strategy they are adopting, what are the opportunities, and what will be the results achieved by the firm. Okay, a firm has arranged a strategy through the strategic management by combining the business and the human resource business and human resource strategy, and they have designed a plan. So the managers will have definitely in mind that what will be the procedure, what will be the way, what are the opportunities if we adopt this strategy, and what result this strategy can give us. The concept of strategy is the approach selected to achieve specified goals in future. It is a plan which is designed to achieve specified goals in the future, and you know that these goals are actually the goals of the organization, whatever the whether the organization needs competitive advantage, because it will compare its resources, whether HR resources or the other resources with its competitor organizations. So it will the firm will develop a strategy in the field for the area in which it is backward as compared to the other firms, or it has some deficiency as compared to the other firms. Similarly, the Johansen and Scholes, according to them, the direction and scope of an organization over the longer term, which ideally matches its resources to its changing environment and in particular to its markets, consumers and clients to meet the stakeholder expectation. They define the strategy that this is to direct the scope of organization in long term, to give direction to the organization in such a way that it matches the markets, the customers, the client, what the customer want. The firm has offered a number of products, but what the firm is providing and what the customers, clients, and the market demand from this firm, the product of this firm. Similarly, it is the process of defining intentions, strategic intent, and allocating or matching resources to opportunities and needs. Business strategy is concerned with achieving competitive advantage. Strategy has three fundamental characteristics. Important to note that strategy is designed these are the fundamental characteristics of strategy. First one is it is forward-looking. It is about deciding where you want to go, how you mean to go there. Means what the firm is intending to do in future. So it is concerned with both ends and means. In this sense, a strategy is what we want to do, and this is how we intend to do. You have designed. The manager has the management has designed a strategy to achieve a specific goal. But this is what type of the strategy is and how to do it. Strategies define longer goals, but they also cover how those goals will be attained. The development of the strategy doesn't mean just to define the goals, but also suggest the ways how to these goals be achieved. The second characteristic of strategy is the recognition that organizational capability of a firm depends on its resource capability. Now, this is also important that organizational capability of a firm, whatever it can achieve, it depends on its resource capability. The third characteristic of strategy is that it aims to achieve the strategic fit. The need when developing functional strategies such as HR to achieve similarity between them and the organizational business strategies within the context of external and internal environment means that a strategy is designed to keep in mind the similarities in the HR strategies within the organization and outside the organization. And similarly, it is also combined with the business strategies. So this means that both while developing a strategy, this is one of the characteristics of the strategy, that both the internal and external environment is also taken into account. Now, coming to the second topic of this lecture, that is the aims of strategic human resource management. Why? For what purpose the strategic human resource management is used? So, coming to its first goal, the fundamental aim of strategic human resource management is to design a plan to resolve the critical issues relevant to the people. This is one of the aims, that what are issues relevant to the people, and who are those people? People working in that particular organization. What lacks in them? What is the issue? Are they not efficient? or they lack some skills, productivity is low, there is compensation problem, or some other problems. So the first aim of strategic human resource management is to develop such strategies, develop such plans which solves the critical issues like as I discussed. Similarly, the second aim is ensuring that the organization has the skilled, committed, and well-motivated employees. So this is another important goal, that through strategic human resource management, the firm ensures that the organization has skilled, committed, and motivated employees. Means that without the skilled, committed, and motivated employees, the competitive advantage cannot be achieved. So, in order to achieve the competitive advantage, the firm should ensure that it has skilled, committed, and well-motivated employees. They are motivated to work in this organization. This motivation can be in different form, and we will discuss the employee motivation in the coming lectures. This is a part of our course. So, the second aim of the strategic human resource management is to ensure that the people working in the organization are committed and well motivated. If they are not, through the strategic human resource management, what we do, that we make them committed, we make them well motivated. If they lack some skills, we provide them skills. The third aim of the human resource management is to manage the employment relationships for our employees in such a way as to contribute in the best possible way to the organization's goals. This is relevant to the first one, that the second one, to ensure that there is the employment, the relationships between the employees and the management, and the mutual communication, mutual relationships is such that the employees are self-motivated to work in such a way that the firm is able to achieve its goals, that is the optimization. They are able to achieve whatever they want. The fourth aim is to achieve integration, vertical alignment of HR strategies with business strategies, and the horizontal integration of the strategies. Means that strategic human resource management use vertical alignment, means combine the human resource strategies with the business strategies, as well as in order to cover up the employee relationship, the integration of the HR strategies as well. To provide a sense of direction so that the business needs of organization and the individual and the collective needs of its employees can be met by the development and implementation of practical HR policies and programs. This is another aim of the strategic human resource management, that to ensure that the collective needs, the individual needs, and the organizational needs, three types of the needs: the organizational needs, individual employees needs, and collective needs of the employees, they are met in a proper way. And how? Through practical HR policies and programs. Means to design such policies, HR policies and programs through which the needs of all the individual and collective needs, as a whole of the employees and the organization are met. Similarly, the another aim of the strategic human resource management is to contribute to the formulation of the business strategy by drawing attention to the ways in which the business can capitalize, the business can capitalize on the advantages of the advantage provided by the strength of its human resources. Means that to formulate such strategy in which we are able to develop the strength of the human resources. Similarly, the strategic human resource management should attempt to achieve a proper balance between hard and soft elements. This was something about the aims of the strategic human resource management. That's why we make use the strategic human resource management. Now, the critical evaluation of the concept of the strategic human resource management. This consists of a few subtopics. The first one is the diversity of the strategic processes, levels, and styles. Dear students, we know that there are different levels adopted by organization and different levels of the strategy. Means different levels adopted by organization are different strategies, which make it a little bit difficult what kind of the strategies are needed. Means that there are different levels at which the strategy is formulated. We know that we can design the strategy at a lower level, at a middle level, at a higher level, whether it is relevant to the financial problem issues relevant to the employees, whether it is relevant to the employees relationship, whether it is to some other relevant issue. There are different levels and the different styles adopted by organization. No, there are different, as we discussed, different levels of the strategy. So the organization is free to adopt different styles, different ways, different methods in order to adopt that strategy. So it sometimes becomes a little bit difficult to develop a clear-cut view what sort of HR strategies are needed, because this will also take the organizational view. And sometimes due to the diversity in the strategic process, it is difficult to decide what kind and type of overall strategies are needed in order to achieve the specific goals. Similarly, complexity of study formulation process. You know that the development of the strategy is a complicated process. It's not such a simple process because many factors have to be kept in mind while developing a strategy. We have to identify the issues, we have to identify the problems, we have to identify the resources. Which is a main thing, resources, main thing in the development of a strategy. Business strategy formulation and implementation is a complex interactive process heavily influenced by a variety of factors. As I discussed, it becomes difficult to the business strategy to HR strategy. It becomes difficult to combine the business strategy with the HR strategy sometimes. The evolutionary nature of business strategy. Definitely, we know that the business strategy is of evolutionary nature, because if the HR strategy is combined with the business strategy, they will keep in mind the condition of the organization, what is the condition of the organization at that particular point. Similarly, it will have to keep in mind its financial resources. So this creates a little bit problem in the strategic human resource management. The evolutionary nature of the strategy making may make it difficult to pin down the HR issues that are likely to be relevant. As this has evolution, the business strategy has evolutionary nature, that in order to get some competitive advantage over other firm, sometimes it is very difficult to highlight all the issues which the HR is facing. Henry and Pettigrew suggest that there are limits to the extent to which the rational HR strategies can be drawn if the process of business strategic planning is itself rational. The absence of articulated business strategies, if because of its evolutionary nature the business strategy has not been clearly expressed, this would aid to the problem of clarifying the business strategic issues that human resource strategies should address. Similarly, integration of what? This concept of strategic human resource management implies that HR strategies must be added to the business strategies in the sense that they both flow from and contribute to such strategies. Means that the HR strategies are combined with the business strategies, but it should be kept in mind that how these strategies, from where these strategies to come, what issues it will address, and what will it contribute. What will it contribute to the organization? The HR strategy will be subjected to considerable external pressure, that is government legislation and some other factors. This is sometimes it becomes a little bit difficult to adopt some strategies because the organization will have to keep in mind the government business regulations, the market conditions, the competitive conditions, the demand for that particular the part of the firms, the resources of the organizations. So sometimes it becomes difficult to develop the strategies. HR strategies cannot entirely be governed by the business. Similarly, the HR strategies cannot entirely be governed by the business strategies. Coming to coming to the third topic, approaches to the strategic human resource management. The resource-based view of, there are different approaches. The first one is the resource-based view of the strategic human resource management. This approach is this approach to strategic human resource management focuses on satisfying the human capital requirements of the organization. They said that it is the range of resources in an organization, including its human resources, that produces its unique character and creates competitive advantage. This is a very simple view, the resource-based view of the strategic human resource management. This view says that actually these are the resources, including the human resources, which produce unique character for the organization, main advantage to the organization, which will give competitive advantage to the organization. In simple words, we can say that according to the resource-based view, the human resources play a main role, the chief role in achieving the competitive advantage. So the firm should focus on the human resources. The firm is an administrative organization and a collection of productive resources and saw resources as a bundle of potential services. According to Penrose, a firm is actually an administrative organization and a collection of the productive resources and saw resources. It means the potential service, it provides the potential services. A firm is said to have competitive advantage according to this view when it is implementing a value creating strategy, not simultaneously being implemented by any current or potential competitors, and when these other firms are unable to duplicate the benefits of this strategy. Means that the firm will be in competitive advantage when it becomes very difficult, it is not possible or very costly for the other its competitors to adopt this value creating strategy which this particular firm has. In environmental analysis of the strengths, weaknesses and opportunities, SWOT analysis is only half of the story. A complete understanding of the sources of a firm's competitive advantage requires the analysis of firm's internal strengths and weaknesses as well. The following rationale for resource-based strategy was adopted by Grant. Grant 1991 is a well-known reading. According to the Grant, the resources and capability of a firm are the central in its strategy formation, and they are primary sources of the profitability, firm's profitability. The key to resource-based approach to a strategy formulation is understanding the relation between resources, capability, competitive advantage, and profitability. Means that the resource-based strategy, this combines the resource capabilities, competitive advantage, and profitability. Means what resources are available, what type of the resources are available to the organization, what resources, financial or human, the firm can use, and why does this firm has any competitive advantage in these resources over the other firms, and what will be if it has a competitive advantage, or if it has not the lesser competitive advantage, it want to the temporary competitive advantage, and the firm want to increase this competitive advantage, then what type of the resources, what type of the strategy will be developed, and whether the resources of the organization are enough to develop such strategies, and if such strategies are developed within the available resources, within the scarce resources, what will be the profitability level. This requires this resource-based view requires the design of strategies which exploit the maximum effect of each firm's unique characteristics. Resource dependency theory suggests that HR strategies such as those concerned with reward are strongly influenced by the need to attract, retain, energize high-quality people. According to the resource dependence theory, if you have high-quality people, you will have to reward them, and the HR strategies are strongly influenced by these people. Looking at this resource-based view of the strategy analysis by Grant, that the resources, according to this view, the resource capability and competitive advantage should be kept in mind in order to develop a strategy. Now, this picture is a very good example of the competitive advantage, that according to the resource-based view, this depends on resources. As discussed in the previous slides, that according to the resource-based view, the strategic human resource management, this relies on resources. What type of that the firm has two types of the resources: the tangible resources. The tangible assets are physical things like land, buildings, machinery, equipment, capital, and all these assets are tangible. Similarly, the intangible are that have no physical presence, but can also be owned by the company. Brand reputation, trademarks, intellectual property rights are intangible assets. These both type of the tangible and intangible resources, these resources, that must be heterogeneous and immobile. Now, what is heterogeneous? What is immobility? Heterogeneous, the first assumption is that the skills, capabilities, and the resources the organization possess differ from one company to another. If the firms would have the same amount and mix of resources, they could not employ different strategies to out-compete each other. Immobile. The second assumption of the resource-based view is that the resources are not mobile and do not move from company to the company. Means that the resources should be heterogeneous. Means they as I discussed, that they should be differ from other company. If the firm has similar resources, then it will be difficult to differentiate it from the other firms. Similarly, it should be immobile, means these resources should be relevant to, concerned to, limited to that particular firm. And how VRIO attributes to become VRIO resources that provide competitive advantage. Now, is the resource capability or we have before developing the strategy is according to this resource we discussed in resource-based view that we have to keep in mind the resource which we use, whether it is valuable. If no, it has competitive advantage. If yes, then there a question whether it is rare. If it is rare, then okay. If it is no, the firm has competitive parity. If the resource is rare, then whether it is costly to imitate for the other firms, whether other firms can imitate it, can copy it. If no, then temporary competitive advantage. If yes, and is the firm organized to capture the value? This should be yes. If no, this is temporary competitive advantage. If yes, this is sustained competitive advantage. Means moving from upward to backward, we see that the resource which the firm is used for making the strategy should be valuable. Rare means the other firms should not have this specific type of the resource. Similarly, if it is rare, then whether it is costly to imitate, it should be costly to imitate, because if the other firms can copy it, can imitate it, can use this particular process or this particular practice, then the firm will have temporary competitive advantage. Similarly, whether it is the firm is organized to capture the value. If yes, then it is sustained competitive advantage. There is a variability, as I discussed in this diagram in the figure. Resources are valuable if they help the organization to increase the value offered to the customers. This is done by increasing the differentiation or decreasing the cost of production. The resources that cannot meet this condition lead to competitive disadvantage. This one. So the variable is whether these are help the organization to increase the value offered to the customers, because there is a well-known saying, customer is the king. What the customer needs, whether the resource which we are using, this is valuable to the customers. If no, this is competitive disadvantage. If yes, this is a advantage. A rarity. Similarly, as we discussed in this figure, this should be rare. Rarity, resources that can only be acquired by one or few companies are considered rare. When more than few companies have the same resources capability, it results in the competitive parity. Similarly, if it is rare, whether costly to imitate, as I told you, that this should become costly to imitate. Imitability, a company has a valuable and rare resource, can achieve at least temporary competitive advantage. However, the resource must also be costly to imitate or to substitute for a rival if a company wants to achieve the sustained competitive advantage. Here I discussed that the other firm should not be able to copy it. It should be costly for the other firms. If your competitor can copy it, then the advantage you are having is not sustained one. Organization, the resources itself do not confer any advantage for the company if it is not organized to capture the value from them. Only the firm that is capable to acquire the valuable, rare and imitable resources can achieve the sustained competitive advantage as discussed here. The resource view based had considerable influence on thinking about the HRM. It provided a justification for attaching importance to the resource activities, especially those concerned with the talent management. It can also be used to enhance the value of HR contribution in achieving the competitive advantage. It must be difficult to find the resources that satisfy all the criteria. External factors such as product market pressures are ignored. It provides only a resource configuration can provide the same value of the firm. So we can say that summarizing this view, that the firm competitive advantage, according to this view, the firm's competitive advantage, this depends on its resources, and the resources should be valuable, the resources should be rare, the resources should be costly to imitate. The second approach to studying human resource management is the performance management approach. High performance management approach involves the development of a number of interrelated processes which together make an impact on the performance of the firms through its people in such areas as productivity, quality, level of customer service, growth, profits, ultimately the delivery of increased shareholder value. According to this view, those activities, those strategies will give the firm a competitive advantage in which it has the high performance. That high performance can be in the productivity, that it has more productivity, it has good productivity, it has a good quality. The quality of the productivity is very high than the other firm, which makes it competitive. A level of customer service that it has very good customer service system. It responds very quickly to the customer queries, to the customer complaints. It satisfies the customer needs. Similarly, the growth, the firm, the growth, the profits, and the delivery is also very important, because you people know that nowadays delivery is one of the important part of the market of the organizations. This is achieved by increasing the generalized guidance on what resources are suitable, different skills, and engaging the enthusiasm of the employees. This the firm will have to keep in mind. They will have to look into the different skills with which the employees have, and if you find some deficiency in the skills, then develop strategies in order to improve that skills and make the labor competitive. Similarly, the interest of the employees is also important, that they should have very high level of the interest, because a high level of interest leads to the high performance of the organization. And according to Stevens, the starting point is leadership, vision, and benchmarking to create a sense of momentum and direction. Main drivers, support system, and cultures are decentralized, devolved decision making made by those closest to the customer, so as to constantly to renew and improve the customers. Development of the people capabilities through learning at all levels, with particular emphasis on self-management, team capabilities to enable and support performance improvement and organizational potential. Similarly, if you expect the high performance, you will have to concentrate on not only a single factor but multiple factor. Performance of operational and people management processes aligned to the organizational objectives, and to build trust, enthusiasm, and commitment to the direction taken by the organization can lead to can give the firm a competitive advantage. Similarly, fair treatment for those who have the organization as it changes, engagement with the needs of the community outside the organization, and this is important component of the trust and commitment based relationship both within and outside the organization. The high performance management approach include rigorous recruitment and selection procedures, extensive and relevant learning and development activities, incentive pay system, and performance management process. This means that if you want to achieve this high performance, then this high performance depends a number of factors in which we will have to focus on the recruitment. Recruitment should be fair and based on the capabilities, abilities, qualification of those the candidates. The selection procedure should be a standard one and according to the needs of the organization. Similarly, the learning and development activities, the training processes, the incentive pay system, what you are paying, how you are paying, because these compensation plays an important role in the high performance of the employees. And the strategy may be expressed as a drive to develop performance culture in the organization. Another approach to the strategic human resource management is the best practice model. This model is based on the assumption that there is a set of best HRM practices that are universal in the sense that they are best in any situation, and that adopting them will lead to the superior organizational performance. There are certain strategies, there are certain set of situations that if the firm focus on them, it can lead this firm to have the competitive advantage. It can make it superior as compared to the other organizations, means it can give them a competitive advantage. And these practices can be employment security. This is very important. If the employees job security, if the employees are secure through a proper the employment system, through their HR policies, they have the job security, then definitely they will work higher, more and more to achieve the best performance. Similarly, selective hiring. Those such type of the people should be hired which fulfill the needs of the organization. Self-managed teams can also play an important role in the achievement of the competitive advantage. High compensation contingent on performance, yes, this is also very important. That a system should be, there should be reward and punishment system. If some of the employees are doing very good, they should be compensated. If they are compensated, they will do that? They will make use of their best of their. They will make use of best of their skills, their capabilities. They will try to have more to produce work in the best way, because they are compensated, and this will ultimately lead to the competitive advantage. Trained to skilled and motivated workforce. So definitely, you know that the world is changing, and in order to we will in the coming topics we will discuss that what is a global village now, and there are many firms which work across the world. Similarly, they have competition in the international market. So in order to produce standard quality of the products, the firms need a skilled and motivated workforce. In order to make the product competitive, the skills of the employees should be updated. And for the updation of the skills, they should be trained. And this training, if they are trained, they will produce. They will improve their efficiency. They will show high performance. They will produce more. And if they show high performance, they will be compensated If they are compensated, they will be motivated. Similarly, reduction of the status differentials, that there should be the management should not keep too much gap with the in employment labor management relations. There should not be too much gap in the labor management relations. If there is too much gap, then this will be a little bit difficult for the employees to give high performance, to give best performance, which will give the superiority to the firms. And similarly, the information about the organization, the latest development should also be shared with the organization. High commitment model. Another approach to the strategic human resource management is the high commitment management model. One of the underpinning characteristics of the HRM is its emphasis on the importance of enhancing the mutual commitment. The fundamental business need, the study should meet is to develop and maintain a high performance culture. I discussed in the previous slide as well that the best strategy is to develop and maintain a high performance culture. Those should be compensated who have high performance. This will create a competition between among the employees, and the competition leads to the best performance. And the characteristics of such culture are: a clear cut line of sight exists between the strategic aims of the authority and those of its department and its staff at all levels. That the strategic aim of the organization should be clear to the authority, department, and staff, employees at all levels. Management define what it requires in shape of performance improvement, set goals for the success, monitors performance, and monitor performance to ensure that the goals are achieved. The management has the idea, which should be shared with the staff, and the management they should know that how to shape the performance improvement, how to increase the performance, how to set the goals, and how to achieve the goals. Leadership from the top, which engenders a shared belief in the importance of the containing improvement, focus on promoting positive attitude that result in committed and motivated workforce. Means that the top leadership should adopt such strategies which make the labor force competitive and motivated. And as discussed in the previous slide, that this will lead some steps like reducing the gap, what we see communication gap, looking at the need of the employees, keeping in mind the skills of the employees, keep compensation of the higher performance. All these lead to committed and motivated workforce. Capabilities of the people developed through learning at all levels to support the performance improvement, and similarly, people provided with opportunities to make full use of their skills and abilities. People valued and rewarded according to their contribution. The development of career ladder, very important. An emphasis on trainability and commitment is highly valued characteristic of the employees at all levels in our organization. Means if the firm want to achieve the competitive advantage, it should have career ladder. It will have to emphasize on the training and commitment. A high level of functional flexibility with the abandonment of the potentially rigid job descriptions, that is the reduction of hierarchies and ending of the status differentials. A heavy reliance on team structure for disseminating information, structuring work, and problem solving can give advantage to the firm. A job design is something management consciously does in order to provide jobs that have a considerable level of the intrinsic satisfaction. Now let us, we talked too much about the strategies. Now let us discuss some of the examples of the strategies. The examples are the human capital management strategies. That is obtaining, analyzing, reporting on the data that inform the direction of the value-adding, people management, strategic investment, and operational decisions relevant to the human capital. Knowledge management, creating, acquiring, capturing, sharing, using knowledge to enhance the learning and performance, means create knowledge, share the knowledge with the employees, and motivate them to use the knowledge. Simply corporate social responsibility and engagement are some of the HR strategies. Organizational development, resourcing, talent management, learning and development, and reward system. All these I'm not going into detail because these have been discussed in detail in the previous slide, that these are the strategies which can actually be developed based on the need of the firm, and which can give the firm a competitive advantage. Continuing the lecture, we have the topic in this lecture number 2, the global competitiveness and strategic human resource management. Dear students, you know that what is a global village. There is no country in the world which can isolate itself from the other country. All the countries are interdependent, and it is an example of the global. It is a global village that is the reason that a whole village has shared the corona pandemic. We see that the world is interconnected. It is a global village. That is the reason that the virus spread around the country, because the people were in connection. Nowadays, as it is the world is a global village, organizations are not bounded in particular territories. The firms, the organizations are not limited to a particular country. The organizations operate in multiple countries. We see so many organizations which are not operating within the boundary of a particular country. We see that they work across the boundaries of their native nation as well. They have links to the international suppliers, vendors, and outsource contributors. Rapid growth of the international outsourcing also indicate the linkage between the global competitiveness and the HR management. We know that nowadays the firms, the companies, the organizations, the industries, these operate in one or more countries, and the process starts from importing and exporting. We know that the firms export products, import products. If it export output, it may be importing some raw material. Good example is in Pakistani pharmaceutical industries, which import which import raw material, chemicals, and it produces drugs and export it. Similarly, we have multinational organizations. You know that multinational organizations are those organizations which work not only in a boundary of a particular country. In the global we have multinational organizations. The firms are not organizations are not limited to particular boundary of a particular country. They will have to keep in mind the global legal and political factors. If they want to establish their setup outside their country, they should know about the legal and political factors prevailing in that particular region or particular country. So similarly, they should also compare it with their own one and look for the comparative advantage. Global cultural factors, similarly, different different regions of the world has different cultures. So this is one of the issue for the global competitiveness, that different if it is want to operate in a area where which is the culture of its culture doesn't match the culture of that particular area where it want to start its setup, then it becomes very difficult for it to survive there. So it will have to keep in mind the global cultural factors, not only in the establishment of that particular establishment of the firm, but also because the firms will export the goods. So if it doesn't know about the cultural factors, then how will it supply goods? How will it produce goods which fits the culture of that particular country, the particular region where it wants to trade? Similarly, the global economic factors should also be kept in mind, that while it is establishing its setup in a region, in a country, it should also keep in mind that what are the economic factors, what is the taxation system, what is the exchange rate there, what are the business regulations there, and what is the payment system. This chart clarified because wage differentials are always there across the different countries of the world. In this we see in this particular chart, we see that in China the hourly cost in USD, remember this is hourly cost of compensation cost for the manufacturing, the production workers, and it is hourly cost. In China it is paid $0.5, in Mexico 2.8, in Taiwan 5.41, and if we go here to the Germany, it is 26.48, which is very high. So before establishing a setup there, you will have to keep in mind among the other economic factors this one. In USA this is 21, Japan 18.83, and so on. This chart shows the different types of the differential in the hourly this. I hope that you may have understood this lecture, and hopefully you may have found it interesting as well. You can check the references. As I told you in the beginning of the lecture, that this lecture is totally based on the references given in this list, of which these two are the major contributors. Apart from it, the other sources are these one. Thank you very much.